this for years, and researching the visuals was as much important as researching the historical facts. So it's a story that I've based on those factual points, but I worked really, really hard to get things.
Do you want to show us
right
any of your favorite
Sure,
illustrations?
sure. Well, this is one of my
difficult?
favorites on the cover, but
Beautiful.
I'll show you.
And you chose the colors, and you chose the cover.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was a really nice one to start with. This is old London back in 1620. And again, I did tons of research to get the kind of architecture right.
And you said you lived in London as well.
I lived in England for a number of years, but there wasn't much of medieval London left. There are still little bits of the Roman wall. This is a Roman wall. There are still little fractions in London. And this is our hero, John.
You must have to research what they wore too, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I did a lot of work on that, and this was him coming to meet William Brewster, who was one of the separatists. He was on the run. He would have almost certainly been executed if he'd been caught. And then I have the loading up of the Mayflower.
Your paintings have this very beautiful old world Renaissance feel, like
Oh,
old
thank you.
masters.
Thank you very much.
Is that like
Well,
an inspiration or
certainly
something you
they would be, and I would have studied them. But as well as the old masters, I mean, I'd certainly be using old masters light effects. Georges de la Tour was famous for his evening light effects. But I'd also be looking at the American masters like Norman Rockwell, N.C. Wyeth. They'd be real heroes of mine. And this is when the Mayflower is drifting down on the tide whenever it's about to leave London. Let me flip forward to a few of the. That's the Mayflower in full sail.
Did you see the model at the Plymouth plantation of the Mayflower? at all?
Yeah, very beautiful. And the replica as well, the full size replica,
Right.
which is wonderful. I did a good bit of research there. When they were leaving England, finally the ship was overloaded because their other ship had let them down, and they were sailing into the winter. It was a terrible terrible time to be leaving to go across the Atlantic. This gives you a little bit of an idea of how conditions might have been in between
this
decks.
is great, especially if you've been to the Plymouth plantation. Now you can see it, but now you can actually visualize it.
Yeah,
with
well, hopefully,
passengers.
yeah. And then the story, as told by William Bradford, who was one of the passengers, it's just